I'm going to switch over. Oh, want to just talk about K3? Sure. Give me a second. So, okay. Put that there. Yeah, just give me a second. So that I can get things set up in the way that they need to be set up. Just, hey, you gotta hack it. Okay, screen just went black. It's supposed to. For what I'm doing, don't worry about it. So I'm gonna have that thing back up here while what I'm doing is loading. Yeah, we can talk about Cage 3. Ooh, hey. Now, don't do that. Don't do that. Get back down there. Sorry? Okay, and give me a second, give me a second, give me a second, give me a second. Give me a second. And... okay. Once again, give me a second, give me a second, give me a second. We can talk about Cage 3 as much as you like. As much as you like, man. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I definitely can't wait for KH3 to come out. Perfect, it's right there. There's really not that much released about it right now, other than, it's gonna have Sora in it. What worlds do I think are going to be in there? Well, there's a difference between what worlds I think are going to be in there, and what worlds are actually going to be in there. Oh no, my computer's lagging a little bit. Definitely, I definitely think there's going to be some interesting world ideas in there. I mean, Kingdom Hearts, they always they bring something new to the table most of the time. So it's definitely going to be something interesting. I think they definitely need to bring in some new worlds. There aren't a whole lot of worlds that, a lot of the more popular Disney movies they've already done worlds for, like Aladdin. And I don't mind it if they bring back, worlds like Aladdin, because they haven't finished the Aladdin saga yet. So I wouldn't mind things like Aladdin, and I wouldn't mind just, seeing a few things come back. Like I said, Aladdin. Hercules, I think they need to find a way to get, the Coliseum type thing into the game without having Olympus Coliseum, because that's been just about every single game so far, except for Dream Drop Distance. I think it's the only one that hasn't had it. And so we really do need something new and something different from the series. And that's one world that has to go. You are wondering about second Lion King world. I think that could work. Now there are two sequels to The Lion King. One of them wouldn't work because it kind of takes place during the first movie, and they've already done that. However, the sequel could work. I don't think it would be the best thing to adapt, but it could definitely work. Yeah, from the second movie. Okay. Yeah. Which, by the way, some of the songs from the second movie are pretty fantastic. I have to say, the movie overall isn't fantastic, and don't ever tell Simba that they're good, because he'll kill you. He doesn't like talking about Lion King 2 or Lion King 1.5. He doesn't like those movies. I think they're fine though. But yeah, I think they could do it. I think they could definitely do a second Pride Lands level. They would just have to be. It would just have to, they would have to put a ton of effort into it to make it work though. Because it ain't gonna be easy. As for new worlds, one idea I've been throwing around, um, one of my favorite Disney movies is Treasure Planet. I'm a huge nerd and I absolutely love sci-fi. So Treasure Planet is definitely a world that I feel needs to be in the game. And I think that they could take an interesting approach with it because that movie, okay, that movie, you know, a good portion of it is the journey to Treasure Planet. And I think one thing that they could do um, is actually have them come across the ship, similar in the way to how they came across Monstro in the first game, or how they came across, like story-wise, they kind of came across the ship in deep space, in the deep space level, which is Lilo and Stitch, in Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. So they can kind of come across like the ship that they're sailing on to get to Treasure Planet. Like it could be like them going on the ship and like having to like fight Heartless that are on the ship or something like that. Kind of akin to Neverland from the first game. We were on Hook's ship. And like you could like have it take place during like that black hole segment. You could and then like later on they could actually come across Treasure Planet, like meet back up with everyone. That'd be kind of interesting. What did you say, Xavier? And they can make another little switch for us. Yeah. Xavier, that's an interesting idea. Having them having another Lilo and Stitch world. It would have to be Hawaii, I think. I'm not sure how they would do it though, because it's heavily implied that Stitch went from like at the end of Deep Space in Birth by Sleep. Stitch goes off in that ship, like goes into hyperdrive in that ship, and and it's heavily implied that he goes straight to Radiant Garden or Hollow Bastion. Um, although I can see them doing a Lilo and Stitch level. I'm just not sure how they would get Stitch back to how they would get Stitch to Hawaii. Um, I'm just not sure how they'd do it. But I think that would definitely work. Maybe have it somewhat similar to the TV show, maybe, where they're going after like all the experiments. I think that'd be really really interesting. And it could work. I think that could definitely work. Yeah, Hollow Bastion did change back into Radiant Garden. Yeah, it did. Um, Returning world. What would you want? Like out of the original world, like Destiny Islands, Radiant Garden, Twilight Town. What would you want? Because I would definitely like, um, I would like, I, I'm pretty much sure Destiny Islands is coming back. I don't know if it's going to be playable though. Um, but it's going to be in there. I'm pretty much sure of it. The trailer has Twilight Town in it, but that may not show up in the game. Good example to use is Birth by Sleep. Early screenshots and early trailers had Hollow Bastion in there, and it was like the Blue Hills kind of area, similar to the area where you fought the 1,000 Heartless. That was in like early screenshots and early footage of the game, but that never appeared in the game. Those scenes were actually switched around. They used that as a placeholder, and I think this Twilight Town is just a placeholder right now, and it may show up again, but don't count it as confirmed. Do not count it as confirmed because it's definitely not. It is definitely not confirmed. I wouldn't mind seeing Twilight Town come back though. I don't know how they were incorporated into the story, but I'd like to. okay, you're saying that they could bring back Ventus in the universe. I'm not sure how they would do that, okay? You may not have played Birth by Sleep, or you may not know the story, but for spoiler reasons, they would not be able to bring back the universe without having to bring back Ventus. And also, spoiler warning, Ventus dies at the end of, he's pretty much dead at the end of Birth by Sleep. I don't see him coming back anytime soon. He makes a cameo in Dream Drop Distance that doesn't make much sense. And I think it's just like a residual thing having to do with plot things that I would spoil Birth by Sleep. So I don't really think he's going to be coming back. He could, but I don't think it would happen. He was pretty dead by the end. He was pretty much dead. I would like to see Maleficent. If she comes back, I'd like to see her step things up a bit. Because, she was main villain in Kingdom Hearts 1 until Anthem showed up. And in Kingdom Hearts 2, she kind of took a backseat. She was a villain for Disney Castle level, but that was about as far as she went for a villain. Pete was there too, but Pete isn't that intimidating. I think they need to find a way to make Maleficent, if they're going to bring her back, Maleficent and Pete, they need to find a way to make them intimidating. Because Pete's a goofball, and he's funny, he's not intimidating. And Maleficent was the main villain in Kingdom Hearts Recoded. Maleficent and Pete were the main villains in there. And they were good enough, but like I said, they need to step it up a little bit. And then Maleficent and Pete make a cameo in Dream Drop Distance that really serves nothing. It serves no real purpose other than trying to give Lee an awesome moment. So yeah. Okay, here's the thing. Ventus and Vin are technically the same person. Ventus, okay, complicated part, trying to explain Kingdom Hearts timeline. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Xehanort is old. He wants a new body. So he decides to take a body, but Vin's body isn't good enough for him. So he decides not to do that. And instead have Vin forge the Keyblade, as I like to call it, or the X-Blade or the Keyblade, whatever you want to call it. Basically, the Keyblade to rule all Keyblades and lets you get Kingdom Hearts, which is a super powerful thing. So, to forge the Keyblade, you need to have two forces of equal strength, one of light and one of darkness, clash. But Vin wasn't strong enough to forge it when he was fighting the Heartless. Yes, Heartless. Heartless show up. They were Neo Shadows, and Xehanort spawned them, and Vin got pretty much defeated by them. So Xehanort split Vin from his split the dark part of Vin away from him and created Ventus. But Vin was too weak to actually fight Ventus and forge it, so Xehanort was pretty much going to leave him for dead at Destiny Island. But Sora was born, and Sora's newborn heart went and helped Vin, and basically helped Vin's heart recuperate and get reborn, essentially. So basically help heal Vin. So Xehanort dropped Vin off at Master Ericus's, with Master Ericus, where he trained with Terra and Aqua. Master Xehanort saw Terra and chose him as his vessel, or his new body. So that's kind of how that went. When Ventus and Ventus fought, they merged together back into one whole being. And they fought, yes, Vin is somewhere in Castle Oblivion, yes. I'll get to that. They fought, Vin combined, he combined with Ventus. Aqua and Mickey fought Vin and Ventus combined, and beat them. and Vin and Ventus were fighting inside of Vin's heart, so that one of them, so that they could get, so that Vin, they were fighting for control of the body essentially, and to also forge the X-Blade. They fought. Vin and eventually won, but his heart was damaged somewhat. And the X-Blade exploded, sending people all across the world. Terra, who had been combined with Xehanort, ended up in Radiant Garden, and Vin and Aqua ended up in the lands between. Mickey saved them. So yeah, Ventus is pretty much dead, though. Ventus pretty much just obliterated him when they fought inside of his heart. So that's pretty much what it was. Ventus is probably not going to come back. Now going into Vin is somewhere in Castle Oblivion. Okay, Ventus's heart, after the massive damage it suffered from having to fight Ventus and forging the X-Blade, went to a familiar heart, and that was Sora's. And basically, Ventus's heart is inside of Sora, which may be the reason why Sora can wield a Keyblade. It's kind of iffy. Yeah, Ventus's heart's inside of Sora. That's like one of the last things you see in the game before you get to the final story. Which, in the final story, Aqua is with Ventus at Yensid's castle, and that is probably why Roxas looks like Ventus. It's also heavily hinted that Roxas has a heart. It's heavily hinted towards in Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, and somewhat in Kingdom Hearts 2, the regular edition. So yeah, that's probably why Roxas looks like a Vin. I imagine that Ventus's heart's inside of Roxas. That's just my theory, though, so don't trust that. Back to what I was talking about. Aqua takes Vin back to the Land of Departure, which is where it's like that's like the first world you start out in. That's that's their Destiny Island basically. And it's been destroyed by Xehanort. She takes Master Ericus's key, which she finds, and she locks the castle in the Land of Departure away, so that all who visit will be lost to oblivion. Yeah, she basically creates Castle Oblivion and hides Vin in there, and so Vin's been in Castle Oblivion this whole time, waiting for Aqua to return. So yeah. As for new levels, I think they need to bring in Jungle Book. They need to bring Jungle Book in. They were going to have it in the first game. They thought, Jungle Book, Tarzan, we have 2 jungle levels. This isn't going to work out very well. So that got canned. They were going to bring it in for Birth by Sleep. That once again got canned for reasons I don't know. Yeah, like I said, that was going to be in Birth by Sleep. But it got canned too. I don't know why. It's really interesting too that that they got rid of it. I don't know why they did. It's a perfectly good idea for a level, and they even had some of the level completed. And if you actually hack into Birth by Sleep, you can access those somewhat finished levels. But I think the Jungle Book would make a great level, and that's one they need to bring in. Robin Hood would be a good level too. Bringing in that Robin Hood animated movie that Disney did.